Hi, my name's Sheehan and today I'd like to talk about Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, which of course is the original Star Wars film made in 1977, released in 1977, written and directed by George Lucas, of course. I'd like to go through this incredibly famous film, exploring how the plot is put together in terms of its structure, as well as some of the themes that crop up in this film. Now, of course, Star Wars needs no introduction. It's probably the most famous film ever made. And, of course, being a man in his 40s, I have very fond memories of Star Wars when I was a boy, including collecting all the toys and the figures. So watching it again recently was a real delight. And it was just one of those films before streaming and even before videos and DVDs. It's one of those films that you just treasured when it was broadcast on television, usually around Christmas time. Now, of course, Star Wars is a battle between good and evil. There's the Force, of course, and this spiritual power seems to be kind of like the yin and the yang, I guess, of the cosmos. There's this dualistic element to Star Wars. And of course, after the famous introductory text of the, in the galaxy far, far away, etc., after that amazing blast of the Star Wars theme, which of course is written by John Williams, we come to an introduction. This film, I guess, has got an introduction, 3 acts and a coda. It's very well put together. It's a very strong and solid structure. Introduction, of course, is the capture of the Rebel cruiser, where you have that amazing shot right at the beginning of the film, the Star Destroyer chasing and engaging with in a battle with this Rebel cruiser, which of course has Princess Leia on it. And she is in possession of the plans for the Death Star, which she gives to R2-D2 and R2-D2's droid buddy, C-3PO, and they escape in this pod. And Darth Vader, of course, comes on, and what a figure he is, just such an iconic villain. And the rest is history. That's the introduction. What a wonderful start to the Star Wars universe. Then Act 1 is all about Tatooine, this sandy planet, vast tracts of desert and rock and sand. And it's here that the droids come into the possession of Luke Skywalker and his uncle and aunt. It's here that the plans eventually, and Leia's message eventually gets to Ben Kenobi, or Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it's here that once the stormtroopers get wind of where these plans are, we're introduced to Mos Eisley and of course Han Solo and Chewbacca, who fly Luke Skywalker and Ben Kenobi and the droids off Tatooine in search of the rebels, of course. Now, in the meantime, in this large act, Act 1 is about an hour long, we have Leia, who's been captured, and she witnesses her planet Alderaan being destroyed in front of her very eyes. And so when Han Solo tries to meet up there with Luke on board, there's nothing there but rocks. But then we brought in, after this battle between the Millennium Falcon, Han Solo's ship, and some TIE fighters, the Imperial battleships, then we're into Act 2, which is set aboard the Death Star itself, this huge space station, looks like a moon. And the Millennium Falcon's inexorably dragged in, and it's here that Princess Leia is freed by Luke and Han Solo are dressed like stormtroopers. We have that scene where they're stuck in the rubbish dump and the walls close in. And of course it's here that Ben Kenobi fights Darth Vader and is killed. And when we have that great lightsaber duel, and during Act 1 Luke Skywalker was learning how to use the lightsaber and harness the Force. After another battle, thrilling battle with the TIE fighters, the Millennium Falcon manages to escape from the orbit of the Death Star, which then brings us into the final act, which is where the rebels meet up, and we have this thrilling fight over the Death Star with the X-Wing fighters and the TIE fighters and the Star Destroyers, and they're all involved. And eventually, because of the plans, the blueprints of the Death Star, they know where the weakness is, and eventually Luke Skywalker, using the Force to guide him, manages to destroy it. And he's a hero. And then we have a medal ceremony at the end where Leia presents Luke, Han and Chewie with their medals. So that's basically the structure of the film. Introduction, 3 acts, and a brief coda. And thematically, you know, it's a lot, of course, about good and evil, which very much seem to be fairly evenly balanced in the Star Wars stories. You know, the Force, the dark side, the good side of the Force. There's kind of a lot of this mystical stuff. There's this trope you find in many stories, literature, films, of the hero going out, and Luke Skywalker, of course, going out of his comfort zone and finding himself and becoming a true hero. The sense of saving a princess, a damsel in distress in this story as well, particularly in the second act. Sense of pulling together as a team in this film. You know, it's and which we find in the other 2 films as well. It's not so much one person who manages to defeat the evil, but it's, you know, there's a group of them, and you could include the whole Rebel alliance as well in that. So yeah, Star Wars, you know, of course it's an amazing film. It's changed cinema forever. Amazingly successful blockbuster, but also the start of a cultural phenomenon, I guess, you know, even stretching up to today with as many sequels. But of course the first 3 are definitely head and shoulders the best out of all the films. Thank you for watching. There's a brief slideshow just showing some of the structure and the themes in a bit more detail. Thanks, bye.